Hey folks, I'm Becky with Enduring Finances. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be taking a look back on the month of April and the dividends that I earned from my stock portfolio. So before we jump into that, I just want to give a brief overview, make sure we're all on the same page of what the goal is for my portfolio. And so I have a self-directed brokerage account through Ally. I've been with them for quite a few years now. And my overall goal for this is to have it function as a long-term dividend growth account that will eventually be earning about $2,000 a month on average in dividends. And with my current diversification strategy, that's going to be about a 4% return. So it's going to be about a $600,000 portfolio as the end goal for that. So my diversification strategy is broken down like this. I use a Excel sheet to track the different sectors and how my portfolio is managing and balancing out, and will reinvest the dividends that I earn back in those sectors that are low, that need to be brought up to meet this goal. And my diversification strategy is probably going to be different than a lot of other people's because one, I'm investing in individual stocks. Two, I'm a younger single adult with no dependents, and I have a pretty high risk tolerance and a long-term goal for this. So these are not short-term gains that I'm looking to get. So before we jump into my portfolio and all the dividends that I earn, I want to take a moment and look back on a post that I just did about an IPO that I initially invested in. Now, I did a swing trade with this IPO through Black Rifle Coffee Company, which is ticker symbol BRCC on the New York Stock Exchange. And with this trade, in just 61 days, I made a 99% return, literally pretty much doubling my money, and it was a pretty interesting experience for me to handle my emotions and all of that with that trade. So if you would like to hear more about that or learn more about what an IPO is, I will link that video up in the corner, then you can go check it out whenever you feel like it. So let's get into where my portfolio is at. We just talked about my goals, my long-term goals for the portfolio. Have it reach about $600,000, see a return of about 4% annually, earn about $2,000 a month in dividends. And then I've added something in here because I've been talking about the statistics of how much money I'm making from dividends in a month, in a week, in a day. And I really like that idea. I think it brings it, to me, it helps me put a smaller number on it that's more in my head, is more reasonably attainable than $600,000. And so I'm going to be tracking how much on a daily average I'm earning over the course of this. So that would be, if to reach a $600,000 portfolio on average, that would be $65.75 a day in dividends. So we've added a new goal to that. And then I've also extended the checklist from just the portfolio value and the average monthly dividend to include that. And so this allows me to essentially go through this checklist, which boosts my self-confidence and just helps me enjoy it more when we hit these milestones all the way down here until we hit $65.75. So that's where we're at goal-wise. So that's the future state. I think it's really important to ground yourself on where you're headed and not get caught up in the day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year, because that can really hinder what you're seeing. And I'm going to show you what I mean in just a minute. We closed the month of April out on a loss. I think the average stock market was down 4 or 5% at the end of April 29th, which was the last day of April that you could trade in the stock market. I think the S&P 500 was down almost 4%, 5%. It was a pretty nasty day for a lot of people. Most companies ended up in red with a loss for the entire month off of one single day. I think I lost just over 3% in the last day of trading in April. April ended on a very sour note for a lot of investors. I even had a conversation with my brother about it, and we both agreed that our strategy was going to be hold and buy up as much as we could while it's on a discount. I ended up closing out my portfolio with a balance of $29,657.75 for a loss of $1,790.96, or about 5.7% loss in my overall portfolio. We've had a rough year, lots of red right here, but I mean, we're only down just we're down under 4% overall this year, which is about $1,300 loss. And that's across the board. That's across the board. I mean, it's just not my portfolio. The S&P 500 took a hit. Everything is taking a hit. And that's why I think it's important to go back and focus on those long-term goals that we have. And so we can scroll down and reorganize this, by the way. But we can scroll down and see, like, overall, like, from 2013, like, we've grown exponentially. We had the decrease there with COVID and everything dropping down and then bumping back up. And I mean, honestly, we're still above where we were, and so we're making progress in the long term. So I'm not worried about it too much. My strategy is not going to change. I don't plan on selling anything. But let's look at dividends, because I know a lot of you are interested in that. So April is one of my bigger months for dividends. I ended up bringing in $125.65 total in dividends. We can see, you know, January was a higher month, February was low, March, and then April's high again, so May will be considerably lower, probably right around $70. And we can see, comparing quarterly, like, we're doing pretty well. We're seeing that continual growth, except for last quarter, and we'll probably not hit this quarter as well, because some companies in my portfolio have dropped their dividends, surprisingly, which is not a good sign. But I'm really happy with $125. I think that's a good monthly dividend. It's above the average goal that I have, so we're getting closer to reaching that by the end of the year. Now let's go ahead and get into the individual dividend payments that I've earned from a multitude of companies, and I'm excited to share some of these. We've had quite a few that increased their dividends, and one major one that cut their dividends by over 50%, almost 52% completely, and what I'm going to do with that company. So let's get into the individual dividends. Alright, so the first dividend that came in on April 1st is ticker symbol DIN, which is Dine Brands Global, for 92 cents. I have 2 shares of this stock. My average purchase price for each one of those shares was $71.69 a piece, and right now we are down just under 12% in this position, and it makes up about 0.5% of my entire portfolio. Now, I know we're down in this position, but this company actually increased their dividend this month, a whole 6 cents, which is a big deal. So they jumped up from 40 cents a share all the way up to 46 cents a share on dividends. So it is a gold star in my book. They are staying put. Dividend number 2, also coming in on April 1st, is ticker symbol EMN, which is Eastman Chemical Company, for 76 cents. I have 1 share total with them. I purchased that share for $102.67. We're up almost 40.5% overall in this position, and it makes up about 0.3% of my entire portfolio. Now, dividend number 3 is one of my favorite companies, and a good one if you're looking to start investing. And that is ticker symbol KO, which is Coca-Cola Company. You've probably heard of them. You probably had a lot of their products, or someone in your family or friends does, maybe every day. So I own 15 shares of this company, so I earned $6.60 a share in dividends. Overall, my average purchase price for these shares is $64.61 a piece, and we are up over 30.5% in this position. This company makes up 3.27% of my entire portfolio, and they also increased their dividend this month. They bumped it up 2 cents from 42 cents a share all the way up to 44 cents a share. Dividend number 4 coming in again on April 1st, April Fool's Day. This one I wish was a joke. This is ticker symbol PPL, which is PPL Corporation, for a total of $2 even Stevens. Now, I own 10 shares of this stock. My average purchase price for those shares was $28.31 a piece. And as of right now, I am down about 2.5% in this position overall. And the company makes up just shy of 1% of my entire portfolio. Now, PPL is the company that did cut their dividends. They cut their dividends from 0.415 cents a share, so about 41.5 cents a share, down to 20 cents a share. So they dropped their dividend by more than 50%. Now, my thought process is, why did they cut their share? Like, why did they have to cut their dividends? Because this company has been doing pretty good with dividends for quite a while. I mean, PPL is a utility company. It falls under the sector of consumer staples, and it is a fallback for when recessions hit and the market goes to crap and everything just gets a little bit tighter and harder. They're a standout, something that you can count on to help balance out and diversify your portfolio in times when crisis might hit. And so this is a really big thing. But they put out a news article. I'll read what their chief executive said about this. He said, 2021 was a significant year for PPL as we strategically repositioned the company for future growth and success. With the sale of our UK business and the planned acquisition of Narragansett Electric, sorry, I don't know how to say that, we are extremely excited about the future for our company, our customers, and our share owners. So, looking at everything that's going on with this, and there's other factors that play into this, but just off of this alone, they're selling a company, so they're not making that profit right now, with the idea that they're going to acquire a different company that is, home to the United States and continue growing after that. I think this is a small hiccup, and I think this is something that they needed to do to put a buffer in and make sure that they could last out this transition for their company. And so my position with them is not going to change. I have no intention whatsoever of selling out and moving on, because I think this is just a last measure that they needed to set to make this transition happen. And I think they're going to move forward and hopefully bounce their dividend back up again and continue growing it in the future. So they are staying on my books, and I'm happy to continue investing in this company. All right. So back to the dividends. Dividend number 5 came in on April 6th, ticker symbol BNDX, which is the Vanguard Total International Bond ETF, which is the ETF that we just barely started investing in last month. So I received 4 cents in dividends from them from the 2 shares that I own. Now I know last month I only owned 1 share, but I reinvested more money into this ETF to help diversify my own portfolio. We'll get more to that trade later on. So I now own 2 shares. My average purchase price for those shares was $50.83 a pop. And with the market going this month, we are down about 3.1% in this position, which follows the market average. I'm not concerned about that as a 1-month investment. It makes up about 0.3% of my entire portfolio, and I'm glad to see a monthly return on that. Dividend number 6 is also coming in on April 6th from ticker symbol QSR, which is Restaurant Brands, for a total of 92 cents a pop. Now, this is a Canadian company. We talked a little bit about the specific agreement between the US and Canada. So there's a 15% tax on top of that, and my brokerage account already took that out, and I don't have to worry about mixing with anything with that. So I own 2 shares of this company, and the average purchase price for the shares was $57.09 a piece. And right now we are down about 10.5% in this position overall, and it makes up about 0.4% of my entire portfolio. Now this company also increased their dividend 1 cent from 53 cents a share to 54 cents a share. So loving to see those pennies coming in. That means I'll earn an extra 2 cents every single quarter with this company. All right, dividend number 7 coming in on April 7th is ticker symbol GSK, which I'm going to butcher this name, but is GlaxoSmithKline PLC. Now, the dividend came in total for $2.99. Now, this is not a Canadian company, but it is a company in the United Kingdom, and there is a special agreement between the United States and the UK on taxing dividends from the UK companies to individuals that hold them in the United States. Now, it's a little bit complicated, and I'm not 100% confident on how it works, so I'm going to be doing some research on that, and I'll probably put up an entire post that kind of breaks it down once I understand it better, because it's a little complicated. But it added up to be about 1% this time, but on average it should be like 5 to 10 to 15, somewhere in there. But I'm going to do more research on it because I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. It's a little bit up in the air, I think. But I own 5 shares of this company. My average purchase price for those shares was $45.28 a share. We were up 22.5% overall in this position, and it makes up about 0.8% of my entire portfolio. Now, This company also has done a dividend increase. They increased almost a full 9 cents from 0.509 to 0.596 for each one of those dividend shares. Dividend number 8, coming in again on April 7th, is ticker symbol MRK, which is American Co. Incorporated, for $1.38. Now, I own 2 shares of this stock, with the average purchase price being $88.69 a share. We're up about 8.8% in this position overall, and it makes up exactly 0.6% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 9, coming in on April 12th, is ticker symbol PM, which is Philip Morris International, for $8.75 a share. Now, I own 7 shares in this position, and the average purchase price for those shares was $100 a piece. We are up about 28% in this position overall, and it makes up about 2.4% of my entire portfolio. Now, dividend number 10, coming in on April 14th, is ticker symbol APTS, which is Preferred Apartment Communities Incorporated, for 35 cents. Now, I own 2 shares of this stock. The average purchase price for the shares was $24.88 a share. We are up over 77.7% in this position, and it makes up about 0.2% of my entire portfolio. This dividend is also monthly, so I'm going to see 35 cents coming in every single month. Dividend number 11, coming in again on April 14th, is ticker symbol MDLZ, which is Mondelez International Incorporated, for $1.40. I own 4 shares of this stock. The average purchase price for those shares was $64.48 a piece, and I am up about 10.8% in this position overall. In total, it makes up just under 1% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 12 is one of my favorite companies, coming in on April 18th. That is ticker symbol O, which is Realty Income Corporation, for 74 cents. Now, I own 3 shares of this stock. The average purchase price for each one of those shares was $69.36 a pop. We are up about 8.5% in this position, and it makes up about 0.7% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 13, coming in again on April 18th, is ticker symbol STAG, which is Stag Industrial Incorporated, for 12 cents. I have 1 share of this stock. Purchase price for that share was $37.32, and right now we are down just under 16% in this position overall, and it makes up about 0.1% of my entire portfolio. This dividend also pays out every single month. Dividend number 14, coming in again on April 18th, is ticker symbol STOR, which is Store Capital Corporation, for $8.09. Now, I own 21 shares of this stock. The average purchase price for those shares was $28.43 a piece. Now, we are up about 0.4% in this position overall, and it makes up just over 2% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 15 comes in as the last dividend earned on April 18th, which is ticker symbol USB, which is US Bank Corporation, for $5.52. Now, I own 12 shares of stock with them. The average purchase price for each of those shares was $48.56 a piece. We are up over 21.1% in this position overall, and it makes up just under 2% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 16, coming in on April 22nd, is ticker symbol MDT, which is Medtronic, for $1.89. Now, I have 3 shares of the stock. The average purchase price for each one of those shares is $104.36 a piece. Right now, we are down about 3.1% in the position overall, and it makes up just over 1% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 17, coming in on April 25th, is one of my new favorites, ticker symbol EFC, which is Ellington Financial Incorporated, with a $8.25 dividend for the 55 shares of stock that I own in this company. Now, the average purchase price for each one of those shares was $16.19 a piece, and right now, we are down about 10.7% in this position overall. It makes up exactly 3% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 18, coming in again on April 25th, is one of my favorite companies that I have swing traded a lot in the past, but now is kind of standing in my portfolio for a long time, is ticker symbol NYMT, which is New York Mortgage Trust, for $40. Now, right now I own 400 shares even of their company. The average purchase price for those shares was $3.22 a piece, and we are down about 48.5% in this position. Now, that's a lot. We're still watching this company. It's staying a pretty flat line. I think it's got a slow incline of increasing its price. But right now we're just kind of sitting watching it. I like that $40 dividend. It's been very consistent with the dividend, so we're going to hold on to it for a while. I know the real estate sector has been taking a hit for months now. So I'm just holding on to it. I'm happy with the dividend. We're going to stay with it. And it makes up over 4.3% of my entire portfolio. Alright, dividend number 19, coming in on April 27th, is ticker symbol BNS, which is the Bank of Nova Scotia, which is a Canadian bank again. We earned $3.31 in dividends, and that is with the special Canadian 15% tax already taken out by my brokerage account. I own 5 shares of the stock. The average purchase price for those shares was $63.32 a piece. And right now we are up over 45.5% in this position overall. And it makes up almost 1.1% of my entire portfolio. This is also the last company that increased their dividend this month. So they bumped up their dividend from just over 79 cents a share to 80 cents. So they bumped it up just under a penny, from 79 cents and a tenth of a penny to 80 cents just overall. Dividend number 20, coming in on the 29th of April, is ticker symbol LTC, which is LTC Properties Incorporated, for $1.90. I own 10 shares of the stock, and the average purchase price for those shares was $33 a piece. Right now we are down 12% in this position, and it makes up just over 1.1% of my entire portfolio. Dividend number 21, coming in again on April 29th, is ticker symbol NLY, which is Annaly Capital Management Incorporated, for $9.02. Now, finishing out April, we own 53 shares of stock, so I purchased quite a few more shares of them. We will update that just after we finish these dividends. But overall, the average purchase price for the shares is now $6.42 a piece. And we are down 18.3% in this position overall. And yes, I'm still buying more shares. It's real estate, and it's on discount right now. And it makes up just over 1.1% of my entire portfolio. And the last dividend that we earned, dividend number 22, is coming in again on April 29th with ticker symbol NRZ, which is New Residential Investment, also a real estate company, for $9.75 a share. I had 39 shares of this company. The average purchase price for the shares was $10.40 a piece. We are up just over 19% in this position, and it makes up 1.4% of my entire portfolio. So that rounds out the 22 different dividends that I earned in the month of April. Now let's take a look at how I reinvested those dividends that I've been earning back into my portfolio. So you can see here, this is how I have my portfolio and my diversification strategy broken down. We already briefly went over the different sectors and areas and my target goals for them. And this adjusts completely to how much money is in my portfolio. So it will automatically adjust and calculate what the actual breakdown percentage is of these different sectors and how much value I have in each one. So I can easily identify companies that are not meeting up to my target goal. And this is important because we're going after a 4% return with dividends, and we can clearly see that finance and real estate are the two biggest sectors that bring in my highest amount of dividends. They bring in 33% and 21% of my entire dividend yield. So this is how I identify what I'm going to be reinvesting in and what I'm not going to be investing in the future. So if they're above my target, I'm not going to invest in them because they're heavy. And we can see that real estate is still down over 1.5% of what my target goal is for this. And so we have spent a lot of time reinvesting back into real estate. Before we jump into the stocks that I purchased in April, I have a whoopsie that I made in the last video because I skipped over the fact that I purchased 8 shares of ticker symbol NLY on the 28th of March, and I completely forgot to update you guys on that. So that is my bad. So we already had an additional 8 shares of NLY. So those 8 shares I bought for $7.28 a piece for a total of $58.24. Sorry about not updating on that. Let's jump into the stocks that I purchased in April. As we saw with my sector breakdown, as we saw with my diversification strategy, I am trying to pour a lot of money into real estate right now and rebalance that up and bring my dividend yield up a little bit with that. So I went ahead and invested more money into the real estate sector in April. So I purchased 4 more shares of ticker symbol NLY on the 4th of April for an average price of $7.04 a share. I then purchased 1 more share, which we briefly mentioned, of ticker symbol BNDX, which is the bond index fund, for $51.22 for 1 share of that. And then I went back on the 21st of April, I went back and I purchased 8 more shares of ticker symbol NLY for an average purchase price of $6.74. In the 3 different transactions we've seen of NLY, the prices dropped down all the way under $6.75 a share. So we're seeing that price continually drop. And then to round out the month, I bought 2 more shares of ticker symbol OHI, which is also real estate, for $26.47 a share. Now you probably ask me, Becky, why didn't you just buy all of those shares of NLY at the exact same time and not have to do 3 different trades for that? And I'll tell you why, it doesn't really matter. I'm not charged any fees for the purchasing of shares. My brokerage account only charges me 2-cent fee when I make sales, when I sell those shares. And so I can buy all of them that I want and sell them at the same time and only have 2 cents in fees for right now. So it doesn't really impact the amount of money that it's going to take me to get that. We're getting dividends sometimes, every single day, sometimes once a week we're getting pretty considerable dividends, and I want to go ahead and reinvest that back into the stock market just about as soon as I can, because I like to watch my brokerage account. I like to see how we're doing and I check on it, and I like reinvesting sooner than later. And you could easily wait till the end of the month and then go ahead and reinvest all the money and purchase more stocks. But for me, once it hits the amount and I already know what shares I want to buy to balance out my portfolio, it's so easy just to go in and purchase those shares right away when I see this. So there's really no reason why you couldn't go in and invest money immediately as soon as you had it. I think that's one of the best strategies that you can have as an investor, whether you're trading individual stocks or index funds or mutual funds or whatever your own strategy looks like. I think investing the money when you get it as soon as possible is the best option, just overall. So that's how I reinvested my dividends from April and a little bit of March. So let's go ahead and take a look at my favorite part of this, and that's looking at the stats of how we are doing and how we're averaging overall with this. For April, our overall dividend yield was 3.59%, so we're getting closer to that 4% as we rebalance real estate harder and bring up the biggest dividend earner sector that we have. Now our average dividend yield is $1,081, and we are making $90.08 a month, which equates to $20.79 a week, and that is just shy of $3. So we jumped up 4 cents and then another 4 cents. So we are making $2.96 a day for just having money invested in dividend stocks. And that averages to just over 12 cents, so 12 3/10 of a penny every single hour, and 2/10 of a penny and a little bit of change every single minute. And then of course, to round it out, the average, if we were to compare how much money we're making every hour compared to a 40-hour work week, we would be making 52 cents an hour. So slow gains, but I like being able to see that, which is why we have this little chart here, so we can see $2.88 a day to $2.92 a day to now $2.96 a day. So if it follows the course, we should see a $3 earning on average a day in dividends next month. But that's going to wrap things up for us. April was a good month in dividends for me, not for my overall portfolio, but remember, we're on a long-term growth strategy here, so a bad month or a bad couple of months really isn't worrying me at all. So I will see you guys next month when we break down all the dividends that I earned from May.